Welcome to the Austin All Day Culinary Tales podcast. I'm Jason Powers, and we are here today with Susanne Wilson of Water to Thrive and Chef Tako of Kemuri Tatsu-ya. Chef's Table Austin takes place on September 18th in the Archer Hotel. We get into all the details on the podcast. We get into the details of Water to Thrive's mission, and we hear from Chef Tako and his experiences. You guys follow the podcast on Instagram, support the podcast on Patreon. Sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. So we are here with Susanne from Water to Thrive and Tako from Kemuri Tatsu-ya.
Yep.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys for coming out here. I know it's not always the easiest getting here, but so Water to Thrive. Let's just jump right into this. Tell me a little bit about it.
Absolutely. Well, we're a nonprofit located right here in Austin, Texas, founded here, been around for 10 years. The founder actually lives here and really had the vision of, heard about the water crisis in Africa and really had the vision that, if we got together with other folks, what could we accomplish? And it was started in a church, Triumphant Love Lutheran Church. Their Bible study class funded several wells, and then the church came along, 12 wells that first year. And so we said, what if we get other people to come along with this mission to supply clean water for people in Africa? So what could we accomplish? So been around for 10 years. We just funded our 1,000th well, which means water for over 500,000 people.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
1,000, that's a big number.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's a lot of sweat, right?
Yeah,
That's a lot
absolutely.
of work.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So a lot goes into these wells.
Yes.
And from what I understand, it's not just you guys go and put in a well. You guys are organized to the point where this is good for the entire community.
Absolutely. Community mobilization is part of it. So if you just go give somebody water, it's like giving your teenager a new car. They don't value it, so you have to have that sweat equity. So we go in, we work with partners in country, so NGOs who are already there that know the language, the culture, who go in and mobilize the community and say, do you want this water, and this is how this is going to happen. Not only that, but we train them on sanitation, hygiene, management of the water project.
Sure.
And then there's a user committee which they elect themselves from the village. 50% have to be female because the women are in charge of gathering the water, so they should be in charge of the water point once they get one.
Sure.
They decide on a user fee. So how much does the household pay to use the water? So there's some equity there. It's like we're going to help build this. The people supply some of the labor. They move the earth. They build a fence around it. So it becomes theirs during the process, not afterwards and saying, oh, now it's yours. Well, help us if it breaks. No, it's up to you. So they have money in the bank. They have a management committee. They take care of their own water project once it's built.
Yeah, and I like the analogy with like giving a teenager a car, right? When you appreciate it more if you build it yourself.
So, do you guys give them tools to repair things and stuff like that?
We train them. That's why we do very basic projects like hand dug wells and spring protections. There's not a lot of pieces or parts that are moving.
Okay.
So, they can get them from the local market, a washer. If it's too big of a job, then they can go back to the partner and they know the phone number, they know who to call to help them. But they also have the money to pay for the parts.
Which is key.
Yes, absolutely.
Which kind of, there's more to this. I'm interested about the founder, but brings in, Tako here.
Yes.
With Chef's Table. An event like this can absolutely create funds for Water to Thrive.
Sure.
To continue, to go past 1,000.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tako, with working with Water to Thrive and like kind of seeing what they're doing over here, she mentioned like sanitation. So does this kind of like just broaden your kind of sense of like how important water is? I mean, we all know it's important. Does it kind of like...
Yeah, I mean, I always knew it was important, and especially like no water, no life, So if, to provide it to people that can't get it, it's a no-brainer to me.
For sure.
You
Absolutely.
know?
And we were talking real quick before we got online. You've been a part of the Chef's Table in Austin for how many years? 4 or 5?
Yeah, probably about 4 or 5 years.
Okay. And your experience with this has been pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, I keep coming back because, just the way it's organized is really well. And obviously their mission to
Yeah.
provide the water for people that need it, that can't get it. Like like I said, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
To me.
We
you
live
know?
in a city where there's wonderful food and, great people, a lot of people moving here, very, first world problems. And when you get on and start digging a little bit, what you guys are doing is incredible.
Thank you.
So the owner or the founder,
Mm-hmm.
how did this come to be? He's in Austin and
Yeah, he's an entrepreneur. He owns a cafe. He had worked with, I think, Texas Instruments for a year. He's an engineer by trade. I don't think he'd spent a lot of time on engineering. Did more marketing and sales, but he's just a really creative individual. And again, heard about the water crisis, and just a small group said we could do something. What can we do? Because everybody can do something. I put something on Facebook the other day about we can't all do big things. We can all do small things in a loving way. So I think that's a Mother Teresa, and that I paraphrase that quote. But I think we can all do something. We all sit back as I'm not rich. I can't do anything. But if you pull people together, how much can be accomplished? $10 provides one person with clean water. $10. So it's just incredible that we have kids who are raising money for wells. We had a 6-year-old who, for his birthday, wanted donations to water. He was adopted from Ethiopia and raised enough for 2 wells. So, if a 6-year-old can do that, any of us can do that.
sure. And just to paint a picture, like what is the water crisis for someone who's not really aware of it?
Sure.
And I noticed that a lot of this is in East Africa.
Yes, we work primarily in East Africa, in Ethiopia, Uganda, and Tanzania. We work with a partner there that got started during the Great Famine. You remember "We Are the World," the song, and all the artists coming together. So it's a very dry part of the world. But yeah, basically there's 663 million people who lack access to clean water, and a huge majority of those live in sub-Saharan Africa. So the average walk is 3.7 miles to water. And that is dirty, filthy water. People die of diseases there that I haven't even heard of. Like I went there and I'm like, what is this disease? And it's a freshwater snail that lives in the water and gets in your intestines and can cause, cancer.
Horrible.
It's horrible. And children, I think the statistic is 5,000 children die every day.
And it may sound elementary and silly to say it right now, but we can walk 3 meters to the refrigerator and get some water.
Absolutely.
And these 3.7 miles, I literally told my daughter this. I was trying to explain to her, we have a pond over yonder.
Yeah.
And I said, well, can you imagine walking over there with a bucket?
Yeah.
And then you also have to bring it back here. How much do you have back? And then on top of it, it's dirty. And so someone could say, okay, boil it. But can you imagine living like that?
Well, the boil thing is funny because people say that, but then you have to go gather firewood.
Right.
And then
The whole
you're
day for a drink
all
of
day
water.
for a drink of water, and then it's the deforestation. You're
Sure.
That's another issue. So the boil water, I always tell people, we haven't thought of that, but then you have to gather the wood, and then you're getting rid of all the trees. So that's another concern.
And you had said 600 and what?
663 million worldwide
Yeah,
don't have access to clean water.
that's pretty crazy. And you guys have pushed 1,000 wells, and how many does 1,000 wells? How many does that kind of?
Typically, it's
Roughly.
over 500 people.
Okay.
So it's huge. Some of our wells are less, depending on where they're located. Some of them are much more. So the average is over 500 people per well.
Sure. And I'd go ahead and think that if you build a well that's going to help 500 people that also helped build it, that it kind of creates a community around it too.
Absolutely. And what we've learned is when a well goes in, especially if there's a school, then more people, sign their kids up, more people move there. It grows the community when there's water. One father even said he wouldn't let his daughter marry somebody whose village didn't have well because he knew what her life would be like.
Wow, yeah. And we can't even, you can say it and we can explain it, but it's probably something we just can't
Unimaginable.
imagine.
You can't.
I had watched a couple videos. You guys have a YouTube channel with, I'm not sure how many videos, but I started looking at some of them, and it tugs on the heartstrings watching the kids out there. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds are gathering water.
Sure.
You see them with their little buckets. You're like, what are they doing? Some of them even dig in the sand, let the water come up, scoop it up in their little buckets,
Yeah.
and take it home.
That's
to
rough.
drink.
That's rough. That is rough. And anybody listening, imagine just carrying a bucket of water in general, let alone back to your family, and you
Yeah.
need to bring as much back as you can because
Absolutely.
obviously some will spill.
Yeah.
So, so this is what you're doing is great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And what we're here, Chef Taco's joining us, Kemuri Tatsu-ya. This is the Chef's Table eighth year?
Yes, 8th year.
8th year for the Chef's Table. You guys raise funds for Water to Thrive. You've got quite the lineup this year. Does the lineup stay pretty consistent, or is it changing?
It changes. Chef David Bull has been our sort of lead and founding chef. So he's the one that sort of asks and invites the other chefs because I think he has a lot of respect, and he's sort of been the person that's been there all along. Not only that, but he went with me on one of my trips to Tanzania, and he and his daughter climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with me.
Wow.
So he helped raise money. His daughter got to see what it was like. But yeah, he's been our lead chef, so he sort of invites the others. And we like people who love our mission and support us. We like people who are doing great things. I know chefs like Chef Taco have won awards. So our donors they love the culinary experiences here. Our donors like to have unique experiences. So I think we're always looking for that little bit of an edge or a little bit of a, who's hot right now and who's been consistently hot for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very cool that he brought his daughter over there.
Yeah.
And speaking of, Chef Taco's just had a child, right? 7 months here.
Yeah. Yeah. Baby
Little
boy.
Little boy.
Does he look like you?
I think it's a good mix between myself and my wife.
Yeah.
He's full of energy.
You think you'll be teaching him some tricks of the trade in the kitchen?
I'll teach him how to cook. Maybe not to be a chef.
Not to be a chef. I think it's a pretty common answer with chefs.
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to do it, yeah, sure, no problem.
Sure.
But
Support it.
it's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
not everyone's successful.
Yeah. And when we see like David Bull bringing his daughter, right?
Yep.
Can you imagine bringing him at this age? I know he's pretty young, but
Yeah.
just kind of like spreading the awareness to what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I mean, if I had the opportunity, he was old enough to understand that. Yeah, it's definitely
it's a unique experience.
Yeah, it puts especially like someone like the younger generation. It'll put things into perspective for them. Like
Sure.
oh, I'm getting all these things really easily when
Yeah.
people have to work really hard for it.
Sure.
So then they should respect these, things that are luxuries to us that we don't see it as that way.
Right. Leading up to now, including the water crisis, we've done quite the number to the planet and many people on it. So the kids being raised now are going to have their hands full when they get a little bit. It'll be a little bit different. I think the awareness of what's important about environments and will become much more apparent than it is now. Because it's not in our faces. But in your case, it is.
Absolutely.
You guys have recognized this and you're doing something about it. So it's great the Chef's Table is happening. You've been a part of this, and what's the experience like?
I mean, it's a chef auction, so
It's fun.
It's fun.
it is fun.
This is what I've heard.
So I've actually done a few different auctions with other
Organization.
Yeah,
you don't have to
organizations,
mention them.
sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
and they seem to always have the same auctioneers, the cowboy guys.
Yeah.
And they're super high energy.
Yeah.
It's great. And there's like a group of them.
Okay.
And they'll there's one guy doing the auctioning, and then,
Sold.
yeah. But they have like other guys that go to the table that like pressure them to a bit more, but they're very high energy and fun.
Sure.
So everyone has a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I used to work for Chef David Bull.
Okay. So like that little full circle there.
Yeah, so I worked for him, and then I broke off and started doing the ramen thing, and then
Yes.
we kind of grew. We've been growing into other things, and but yeah, he contacted me, and when we just had the ramen shop, and he's like, "Yeah, you want to do this?" I was like, "Sure."
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I might have skipped out 1 year, but
Sure.
I'm pretty sure I've been doing it every year because, this is one of the ones that, is well organized and something that is a really great cause because, the water.
Right.
No water, no life is the way I see it.
Yeah.
They always say that in Africa, water is life.
Or
And-
yeah, water is life. Same
one
thing.
of the one of the things I think that makes this event unique for the chefs, at least that's what they've told me, is a lot of times they get invited to participate, but they're cooking the food, and people come and just want to eat the food. Where this is different, the chefs get to come and they get to talk to they get to hang out with each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
They get to
Yeah,
have a
yeah, exactly.
beer. They get to like.
This is
They
Yeah.
don't get to. They're not working. They're just having fun. And so when they get up on the stage, it's about them being able to talk about their creations. Promote their restaurant or promote who they are and what they do. So
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit unique in that essence because
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
mentioned that to Bull. I was like, man, this is great. Like, I don't have to provide any food. I just, get to, do my thing, mingle a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
You guys even have like food provided for the
Yes.
chefs to eat, and
so.
so it's
There you go.
so we don't have the stress of like, oh, we got to provide 100 bites for all
Exactly.
these people and stuff like
I
that.
poked around a little bit, and this is kind of what I was.
You know-
I was hoping you'd get at.
Yeah, and and he was basically like, yeah, that's how I wanted it.
Sure, yeah.
So that way you guys don't have to worry about that and just
It
do.
means a lot, right?
Yeah, it
you're
does.
cooking all the time. You're providing, and to be able to take a
Yeah,
little
and those
break.
logistics, they're not always easy, to
No.
like, and you have to pull some of your employees. You might be short staffed, so
Sure.
And it's-
and a lot of people, they don't. You do a lot of these events, and they don't reimburse you for what you bring.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
the
mean?
food you provide, and
Yeah, stuff like that, So I guess they see it more as like marketing, or you're
Sure.
donating it as part of it. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But you guys have to make a living too. So, one of the things that we do is we support the chefs by giving them a stipend to help offset the cost of the food.
Yeah.
So, even though they're donating their time, because once a donor buys the dinner or the menu, then it's up to that donor and the chef to arrange when that will happen. So it's sort of on their schedule, on their time. And then, they work with that donor to say it's going to be an anniversary party, or it's going to be in your home or at the restaurant. Where's it going to be? What time? So they work together to create when that will happen.
Okay. I wanted to ask, how do you kind of like what we call it, like a package? What, like, is that what we refer to as what? you
yeah,
put
every
together?
chef, I think, is a little bit different.
What's your strategy here? Can you share what you're providing yet?
Well, yeah, what I do basically is I'm pretty open with it. I like to work with the winning bidder, and basically I usually call it like pick your own party in a way, to where it's like I can do like a 5-7 course meal for 10 people at your house,
Oh, nice.
or if you want to do like a big party, 30, 50 people, 20 people, whatever, we can like, change the surface up to where it's more like, like a buffet or whatever,
Sure.
because it's a party, right?
Sure.
So we can provide stuff like that.
So
you
you're
know what I mean?
flexible. It's not like you're buying this package. You guys, that's kind
Yeah,
of nice
that's why I
working.
say pick your own party, because
Sure.
and I think what last year's winner, who also bidded on me again this last one.
They must have liked you.
Yeah, we had a great time, and they had I believe a housewarming party,
Sure.
so they wanted to have,
Bites and
yeah. So we set up, like basically like a buffet in a sense, but we brought our yakitori grill, so we're grilling on site.
Nice.
Had some sashimi and desserts and stuff like that on the tables, and so it was a party essentially,
Cool.
with us there. We brought some like sake punch, and so, and they really dug it, So I guess so much so that they bid it on me again this last time.
Nice.
And actually, we're doing an even bigger event. I'm doing a bigger event for them. I can't think of the details right now. There's just
so it
so
brought
much
you
on my
some
head.
business.
So that
No,
they
well, for their
Right.
for their second bid.
Oh, okay.
Their second
Their
bid.
second
So they're
bid.
like, can we do a bigger party? It's gonna
Oh,
be
okay.
like 70 people.
Oh, gosh.
And they're always like, oh, we can pay the extra,
Oh.
And I'm like, don't worry about it. I can figure it out, because I can stretch $1,000.
That's generous of you.
Very easily, So I was like, I can make it work for you.
Sure.
If you want it like really fancy upscale stuff like that, then we can talk about that. But but there's also, I definitely work with
Yeah.
them, like this is what I don't have for this many people. So, if you could provide the plateware and stuff like that, you know.
Do they ever occur like at Kemuri Tatsu-ya, or is it typically like off, somewhere else?
It's I typically try to go to their houses
Okay.
or their own somewhere else. We probably could do it at Kemuri, but
You'd have to like buy out the place, sort of.
in a way, we'd have to block out a spot,
Okay.
and it might be a little bit more difficult to do. And
I'm just
right- and-
curious. When you're saying this, I'm like running through my head. I'm just like, so do you guys have a commissary kitchen, or like do you prepare it like in their kitchen, or how does that all work?
well, we
Just
have
out of
several
curiosity.
restaurants. You
Yeah.
know, we have a commissary kitchen, but I'm mainly at Kemuri these days right now,
Sure.
so I usually just prep out of there,
Okay.
and then
Sure.
take it off site wherever I need to.
And you're saying you're surprised he's bid it twice, but I've been to Kemuri Tatsu. I'm not surprised he's bid it twice. It's delicious. I mean,
It was actually his wife that bid,
okay. Let's see.
but
Still,
He's a
Completely.
smart man.
The
Whoever
husband-
he is, he's a smart man.
Yeah, the husband and wife, they're really great people.
sure.
You know? So
Happy life.
We
That's
had
how
we
that
had a
goes.
really good time the last time, so I was actually pleasantly surprised that they bid on me again. 'Cause
Excellent.
I had a lot of fun with them, and they're
Excellent.
really really great people.
And I think most of the bidders really desire that in-home experience because we all go to restaurants all the time, but to have a chef of the caliber of Chef Tako in your home, wow.
Super cool.
I mean, that's not something you get every day. So I think again, we try to provide some unique experiences. We should tell our chefs, play it up, like, add some unique offerings. Like Chef Bull this year is offering, I think, a night or two at the Archer Hotel, and he's got 2 different packages. Like you can do a cabana, and you up to 8 guests and 2 rooms, and like a welcome package, and you can do a tasting menu, or you can do like the cabana pool party. So he's offering 2 different things. You get to decide what you want when you win his dinner.
Sure. So it's a little different approach. Like he's kind of like got it laid out, but also nice that he's putting some thought into it. Where Taco more of like a freestyle approach. Like let's do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. And usually I try to come to their house because I think it's more because I see it as a dinner party.
Well, what
You know?
what she pointed the fact that you get you in your house cooking your
Yeah.
they're not going to forget that.
No.
They're going to take pictures.
They got some really nice houses too.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
That doesn't hurt.
No, absolutely.
So I go in there and I'm like, oh, cool, you have really good equipment, way better than my kitchen. We can make this work.
We
Yeah.
can make it work. So, any ideas of? I noticed that I forget who it was, but on Facebook, you guys started kind of like revealing what guys were offering.
Yeah. So we've been revealing the chefs one at a time, sort of what they're going to be offering, and putting that out there. So if you're interested, check out Water to Thrive Chef's Table Austin Facebook page. We have 2 pages, one for Water to Thrive, and we also have a Chef's Table Austin page.
Oh, it's its own unique page.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to, go check it out and see who the chefs are and what they're going to be offering that evening, we welcome you to do that.
Yeah, definitely interesting stuff to check up on.
I think mine's like an old menu from one of the previous winners.
Okay.
So I customize it because it just depends on what's in season.
Sure,
So I
sure.
can't be like, this is what I'm going to make, and then they want to have their party in fall, and it's like, well, that's a spring menu, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So
Right,
that's why
yeah.
I say it's very customizable.
Sure.
Ask them what they can or can't eat, any allergies.
Yeah. So any chefs who may be listening, the chef's table. This is the 8th year of this.
Yes.
Is it always 12, or do you welcome more chefs?
We've played around with the numbers, and usually it's always a struggle a little bit to get these guys to commit, and I know they're very, very busy.
Sure, yeah.
So I think in the past we've done I think last year we did have maybe 12 chefs. This year we actually have 11.
Okay.
We've had fewer. But I like that number for the crowd we get. I think it's a good number because you want a little competition. You want people, bidding up the dinners, and you want somebody, really going after them. If you have too many dinners and too many chefs for a small crowd, then there's not as much excitement around it. So we would always love to invite more chefs, but of course we would also like a bigger crowd. So right now we've been at about 225 people attending the event.
And these people attending, who typically who are they? Where
Yeah, that's a great question.
anyone can go?
Anyone can go. Yeah, it's open to the public. chefstableaustin.org. That's where you can go
Right.
check out the check out the tickets. But we have, in addition to the chef's dinners, we have some smaller silent auction packages. We have some things like signed memorabilia from guitars to music. We have an Eric Clapton signed guitar coming this year.
Ooh, that's
we have
cool.
a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle 20-year-old going to be there for the VIPs to bid on. So we've got some unique packages, and then we have some simple things like pamper your pet, which will have like doggy daycare, some toys, some food that the value will be in the hundreds instead of in the thousands. So the people who come, they are past supporters or people that believe in our mission, but there are also people who come who don't really know us, who come who are foodies,
Yeah.
who are really excited about winning the dinners,
I
who
could
want
see that
piece
totally.
of it. Yeah.
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 I mean, some pretty cool people are attending this, and like just like you said, get them in the house or whatever. Greenhouse Craft Foods, that's excellent. They just opened a new spot up in Georgetown, maybe.
Yeah, Rob Snow is Greenhouse Craft Foods. He's been with us. I think he's done every year except for one. So yeah, he's incredible. His dinners are always very popular.
Very
Yeah, he
popular.
raised a bunch of money last time. That was pretty crazy.
25,000.
Yeah, I think
That's a high
I think
number.
the I can't remember who it was before him, but because he went on last.
Bryce Gilmore.
Oh yeah, Bryce went on before him and raised a bunch of money.
25,000.
Yeah, crazy amount, right? And he was like wanting to beat it and was like, what did he do? Like there was some company there, ABC Pest
ABC,
Control,
yes.
Pest
Yes.
Control, and he was like, I'll do your dinner. How many employees do you have? And he was like 200 or 300 or something like that. And he was like, I'll do it if you match that.
That's a lot of.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? That's a lot of food, dude.
But he did.
But he raised it. Yeah.
Nice, very
Yeah.
cool.
You know, and I was like, man, how are you gonna top that, dude? And then he did.
Sure, that's very good. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they're pretty
Kudos,
competitive.
right?
I remember the first year, and I'd just been hired as executive director of Water to Thrive, and Chef Tako gets up. Chef Tyson Cole had gone first,
Oh,
and he gets up.
I was so nervous.
He was so funny though. He's like, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. He goes, but I'm, this is what kind of food I prepare like Tyson Cole, but I'm actually Japanese. And everybody cracked up laughing.
Yeah, I had to have some kind of icebreaker,
Sure.
and like, I told Boy, I saw the lineup, and I was like, oh man, you got me going after Tyson? Come on, man, really?
Right, right.
And it's when the ramen shops first opened, and some people knew, but I don't think a whole lot of people knew. you
But
know?
even right when you guys first opened, there was always that line.
Oh.
Yeah, people knew, but maybe not this demographic of people.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And because it's like,
Oh, I get you could be anxious about something like that.
and it's my first time,
Yeah.
and then I'm following Tyson,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Of all people.
and he's like, Bo's like, oh, you do great, you do great, and I was like, yeah, okay. So then I get on stage and not getting a lot of reaction, just talking what I'm doing, and then finally I was just like, okay, like I have a lot of respect for Tyson, I love his restaurants, sushi's great, but one thing I can say is that I'm actually Japanese. I was like, I've done sushi before, but I'm actually Japanese. And everybody started cracking up, and then the bids started coming
Smooth sailing, right?
in. Yeah.
Well, cool. And I'm sure everybody who was there and now to date knows everything about Ramen Tatsu-ya.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah, I sure hope so too. If not, they're missing out, right?
Yeah. Well, there's probably still people that don't know. So,
Yeah, that's a shame.
well,
Well, hell, keep it that way. Keep it that way.
Yeah.
Go-
Yeah.
Keep the line down. We'll go. We'll continue.
There you go.
now we want more and more
I
people
know
to
you
come. It's a volume game, ramen.
And
Yeah.
speaking of, so Tyson Cole is not attending this year, but you have
Etsura.
Etsura, so that's Uchiko, and that's on Lamar. Is that the one we're talking about? It's North Lamar's.
Yeah, it's like
across from like Central Market area.
Lamar and 38.
Okay, then they're all. So that's great too. So I
Yeah.
mean, anybody who's maybe listening now saying, "Oh, Tyson Cole's going to," oh, you still got Uchiko. So
Yeah, absolutely.
the same vein,
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
So and this is so attending Water to Thrive. You can get on there and just kind of find tickets there.
Sure. watertothrive.org or chefstableaustin.org will take you to the ticket page. And the event is September the 18th. It's going to be at the Archer Hotel up in the Domain. And again, that's associated with Chef Bull. That's his concept. And So we're going to be in his house.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun, and he's going to be preparing the food for the night of the event. So, I'm sure it's not him personally, but his
Sure.
group will be preparing the food. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be Ethiopian, African themed food. We've never done that before, so I'm sort of excited about what he's going to put together.
Yeah, what kind of dishes come out of there? Do you know? Or
Yeah, well, one of their spices is berberi, so it's a spice made of, I don't know, like 80 different things, but it's very spicy. It's hot, got a lot of heat to it. I'm sure he'll tone it down for the American palate. But yeah, I don't have the menu right in front of me, but he's got some exciting things and I think it'll be fun. It won't be your typical, here's chicken, here's fish, here's steak, but he's doing some different spices and some different preparations. So yeah, I'm
Very
looking forward
cool.
to it. Yeah.
and you're familiar with spices,
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I've been meaning to ask. So, have you been over to these in Africa to these places?
I've been 9 times.
Okay.
I usually go twice a year for a month at a time. So it's, one of the things I love about Water to Thrive, we're really small. I'm the only stateside full-time employee. We have an Ethiopian who's a hydrogeologist. So I go over 2 times a year. I was in Ethiopia and Uganda in June for the entire month. So I'm traveling to the ruralest of villages, to the top of mountains. One day we walked almost 14 miles to visit 2 villages. So these villages are very rural that we put these wells in. So yeah, and we take donors if they want to go on the trip. So we've had donors go with us before. I had 2 college interns go with me this last year. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm there quite often.
Sure. And going there, when people join, do you ever get any like their feedback? Does it change them? I mean, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, if it doesn't change you, I say you're not human. We had one couple that went the first year that I joined Water to Thrive in 2015, Mary and Homer Goring, and they were in their 70s. And as a result of her telling people about the experience and how important the water issue is, I think we're up to 23 wells have been funded because of the presentation she's made to other people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And $25,000 last year was
Actually, 35,000 was the highest bid on a dinner, and that was last year.
And what would that result in? Just for anybody who's going to throw out that kind of money to get like taco at their house.
I think it's more about the mission that's supported. So, I don't think all these people are always concerned about, I'm going to feed 1,000 people. It's more about this particular bidder and donor. He expressed to me he was more about the experience. So it was Aaron Franklin was the dinner he won, and he just wanted to know more about preparation of barbecue and the experience of what's it like in the kitchen with Aaron Franklin. So I think that's what a lot of donors are looking for, the unique experience. Not that I'm going to feed 1,000 people, in my home, but that I really get that up close and personal attention from the chef. Maybe I get to be in the kitchen. I think a couple of our chefs this year are going to do giving you a cooking lesson, which I think is just fabulous. In fact, I did that for a friend. I bought him a dinner by a chef who came in and gave us a cooking lesson. He was like, that was the best Christmas present ever.
Sure.
Simple.
Yeah. That's like ultimate foodie glory.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I get to see how they prepare the food. I get to learn their tips.
Sure, yeah.
You guys didn't know you were celebrities, right, Chef Tako?
I'm not a celebrity.
You are to us.
Well, yeah, I think you don't think you are, but you might be. You might be. Sorry, got to break it to you. So this, your experience, coming back to when you do this. I mean, do you ever have any experiences with the people, the donors, the people who are bidding on these things, where they kind of really stand by? Because I'm sure some people are just there having fun that evening, or whatever it is. But do you guys ever get personal stories of how it kind of affects them to see these children and people and families living this way in Africa?
I think definitely, I've been at the event when we had the young boy speak who had been adopted from Ethiopia about raising money for water. We also had a young lady speak who's from Uganda who spoke. Her name's Evelyn Apoko. Hi, Evelyn, if you're listening. But she was captured at 12 years old and held as a slave and captured by fighting guerrillas. And escaped about 3 years later, but was horribly injured in a bomb blast. And she spoke. There was not a dry eye in the house when she talked about, water and, her father's village from where she grew up and, what life was like. So, again, we can't imagine the
Yeah.
day-to-day life. So when you see it and you see how little children are gathering water and yeah, it's huge. If you're not changed by it, then whew, you're not human.
No, yeah. And you said there's little things that we can do, like little things. So what can we do? We're here in Austin, and there's 1 billion people here.
Absolutely. I said if everybody would give $10, just $10, we would solve the world's water problem.
Sure.
And so again, $10 is enough to give one person clean water. Just think about this: if you gave $10 every month, that's nothing to us. That's like 2 coffee drinks, right?
Right.
So every month, if you just gave $10, that's 12 people. You give water for 12 people. How impactful is that?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you get funding for this? So all the donations go to the mission, right? So how do you guys get paid?
Actually, this event and we also have our donors who are called water angels who give at least 1,000 or more a year who say, I know how important the operation piece is because we're a small staff. I mean, there's just a few people in the office, me and my employees. So it's a lot of work, but there are people out there who say, I know how important this work is, so I'm going to help support the operations. Because, again, I have to feed myself. I'm not
No,
rich.
I understand that. That's why I was kind of curious
Yeah.
if you guys are getting like grants or
Not so many grants.
I don't know how that works.
Most
That's why I'm just
nonprofits
curious.
It's a good
exist.
question. Water angels.
Yeah, but most nonprofits exist on the donations of individuals. So I can give you an example. We have a couple that, they live in Florida and they found out about us. They have funded 15 wells. Said, we're going to send you enough money for 1 well a month. Here you are. Churches, congregations, UT, I had the Asian Business Student Association. They raised money. They had a dodgeball for the cause. I have kids in schools. I even have a group in the Cayman Islands. It's children who are doing lemonade stands to raise money for water. So it's just people who get connected to the cause and say I can do something about it. Here you go. Whether it's $10, $500, or $5,000.
So there's actually people that donate to
Yeah, bless them,
the
right?
organization
Yeah.
and not only the cause. Because,
Right.
I mean, obviously without y'all, this can't happen.
Exactly.
So I was just curious if there's like a split or
Yeah.
something.
Well, there is sort of a split. It's like we always tell people we have the 100% promise, which every dollar donated to water goes to a project. We don't take anything out for salaries to pay the light bills or anything. So everything for operations comes from another bucket. So our water angels and all of our events and things like that.
Yeah.
That's how we fund that.
So I would, I guess, call that similar to like a Patreon page or something where somebody can support.
it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, because we have people doing silly things, like a podcast, for instance, or a YouTube channel where they're just doing something where people are actually supporting it because they like it. But this, I
Yeah.
guess, in this case, these are people who see a bigger,
Yeah.
they see the bigger picture. And it's kind of beautiful that you have people that are, well, what do we say, woke? Who can say there's a bigger...
Yeah, it's just because sometimes like these bigger organizations that are like nonprofit that help, like I don't know where this money's going to,
Sure.
So then they're a lot bigger, so it's like, how much are they
Siphoning
keeping
off. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm not saying that that's what happens, but
It makes you wonder.
Yeah,
It
and
has happened.
usually as it gets bigger, I feel like that kind of tends to happen. I'm
Yeah.
not,
No, it has happened. And I think that's why our donors are very astute and they ask lots of questions. We're very transparent. In fact, I just had a donor reach out to me from Kansas and said, we do event planning. We take a percentage of all the ticket sales and give to nonprofits. We've worked with this organization, but they're really big, a water organization, which remained unnamed. But they said, we don't know where the money goes.
Yeah.
And with you, we've researched you. We know that if we give $5,000 for a well, you'll give us the GPS coordinates, photos of the well. We can put a plaque on the well. We can go visit as a donor. And I said, absolutely. That is absolutely what we do.
Cool. So, I mean, these guys are people with good hearts to actually, it's almost like, although they're supporting this, they're actually almost buying something in a sense. They're getting something in return where they
Yeah,
can say,
a
"Hey,
good
look,
feeling. Look
good
what
feeling."
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of what kind of sold me too. Once I started like really researching, is like, okay, this money's going to where it's actually supposed to be going to.
Yeah, I
You
love
know?
that. And so Kansas, you're getting donations from all over the place. You guys
We
are based in Austin.
Yeah, I did the research and looked at all of our donations. I think we're the only 3 states that we've not received donations from.
Oh, that's huge. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, for a little nonprofit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys get to do any kind of other events in any other parts of the country, or do you guys kind of like?
This is our big event again. There's one of me and I'm out of the country for 2 years. I would love to take this concept to San Antonio, to Houston, to Dallas. I think that would be our next step with a big event. We used to have a pump run, but that is a lot of work to put together. So we really focused on Chef's Table instead.
Well, that's a good thing to focus on. San
Yeah.
Antonio would be a good spot. A lot of good
Yeah.
places out there.
Houston too.
Yeah.
Houston's huge, right?
Yeah.
You got a lot of stuff out there. That could be a huge event. You might need more than the 12 or 11 chefs in there.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Do you plan on expanding any like Kemuri? Are you just going to stay in Austin?
With Kemuri,
Yeah, or the ramen.
the ramen shops, we want to, grow them out to different cities. We already have one in Houston. It's been there.
But Kemuri's
over
unique to
2
us.
years.
That's
It
our
is,
little gem.
I mean, I can't predict the future.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might,
But you're happy.
I'm happy. Yeah. That's Kemuri's a beast. It's a really hard restaurant because we have a really big menu, and then we also smoke meats that take a long time to smoke, and there's just a lot of prep involved as far as like the kitchen side of it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then like the unique concept, the front of the house having to explain the concept, what an izakaya is. We're not necessarily a traditional izakaya in the sense of the food that we serve, but as far as like the heart of it, what an izakaya is it's like a Japanese gastropub, right? So you have, small plates, and then you have drinks. So you drink and, eat small food plates.
I
And
think
you
that
have
was my
friends.
experience there.
It's very much kind of like a party atmosphere in a way.
Sure.
Like when I first stepped in after we had all the decorations, I was like, wow, I feel like I'm in Japan.
Oh, cool.
Because it's like smallish and dark, and there's stuff all over the walls, and yeah. And just to me, the greatest thing is the vibe, like, the food, obviously, and the service too, but the vibe to me is what's the most important, because like we want people to have fun, because an izakaya is like a meeting place, traditionally. People go there after work, have small plates, have some drinks,
Take a load off.
take a
at the end
load
of the day.
off,
Sure.
and yeah. And even though our food is just, it's a little bit different, it's not the most traditional, but it's more of a representation of myself and my business partner Tatsu.
And what would you say it is? How would you classify
Well,
it
so
if you had to?
so I'm born and raised Austin, Texas. My parents are Japanese. From yeah, they immigrated here from Japan, and Tatsu is actually an immigrant. He moved here when he was younger, to Texas. So Texans are proud. I consider myself Japanese Texan.
Yeah.
Or be more like Japanese American, but I'm Japanese Texan because
Okay.
I'm from Texas. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a proud Texan.
Right.
And so it's very much a representation of that, being Japanese and growing up in Texas. So the two influences,
Cool.
it's a representation of that.
Tex-Mex
You know what I
meats. Is that
In a way, it's not all Tex-Mex. There's
Oh, no.
there's a lot of different influences in Texas with barbecue. We have
Mm-hmm.
the barbecue, and yeah, obviously the Mexican influence, and there's just a lot of different influences of cuisine in Texas, and we try to, showcase that,
Sure.
but with a Japanese twist on a lot of things.
right?
You know,
And before that came the Ramen Tatsu-ya, which how quickly did that gain traction?
oh man, we were really worried about it in the beginning because we didn't know if it was too hot in Texas to have ramen. And at the time, there was no dedicated ramen shops. And
But we still have spicy food, right? You ever guys? I mean, just like heat. Like you eat something hot.
yeah, but it's a
Ramen's
hot bowl of soup. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I could see your concern, but it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But
So
don't you think Austinites are so open to trying things and
They-
adopting and
they
accepting
are, but
new
this
foods
is like
and
2012, so the food scene's gotten way bigger since
Really?
2012. I mean, it was still coming up,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think compared to then to now,
yeah.
there's so many restaurants.
Yeah. No, we've
It's
talked
might have
about
about
it.
like tripled or quadrupled
Yeah,
since
yeah.
2012.
Yeah.
So we were afraid, but it was.
And
pretty-
we've talked a little bit about Austinites, being open, and that's up for debate.
Okay.
I think some people kind of think maybe we
I'm
need to
still
be
new.
more open.
I'm still new to Austin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, how do you feel? I mean, you're born and raised here. Do the locals or maybe even people coming in are they open to trying anything and everything, or have you had
Yeah, I mean,
pushback?
basically, we got lucky. It was a hit from the beginning.
that's awesome.
So
It is awesome, yeah.
we soft opened, and the plan was to do like lunch and dinner right away.
That was 183. Is that right?
Yeah,
off there?
180 Olin Peyton Gin.
Okay.
And the plan originally was to do lunch and dinner, and then we're like, oh, we hope we sell at least 100 bowls a day. That way we can make a little profit. And we didn't have a lot of staff, because we didn't know what to expect, And as soon as like we did that soft open, well, we had a bigger menu, and I remember Tatsu the day before soft open, he was like really worried about the menu, or maybe it was a few days before. And I was like, well, let's just cut the menu. Let's cut the menu, and see what we can handle. And if it's too much, then we won't, or if we can handle it, then we'll add it.
Add it back on.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't want to have a big menu. That's the whole thing. Small menu, because it's a ramen shop. It's not a Japanese restaurant with sushi and you know what I mean, like ramen and all this other Japanese. We're a ramen shop.
Right.
There's other things that you can get, but the focus is on ramen.
Sure.
And in a typical ramen or traditional ramen restaurant, they are certain sides that you can get, which is we offer. Some of the stuff we made up, but anyways, yes, the first soft open, it was like 200 plus people.
Wow.
And then the second day and the third day was like that. So after that, I was like, okay, I think we're gonna be busy, and we can't do lunch right now, and we definitely need to hire more people. So we were very, very fortunate in that, and we couldn't even afford a sign. So we had what's called a noren. It's basically
like a banner.
yeah, it's basically like a banner. So in like Japan and the ramen shops, when they're open, they put the noren out.
Oh, wow.
It's like a curtain kind of banner curtain thing, and they hang it up. When they're closed, they take it down.
Oh, wow.
So that's basically our sign for a really long time, and then we started generating money, pouring it back in the restaurant, and
Nice.
now we have signs.
And
But before,
A sign of success.
for the longest time though, the line was the sign. People would see the line,
absolutely.
and it would attract you to it.
They knew you were
And I
open.
think a lot of it too was also like people kind of liked that because they felt like they were finding something.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, I can speak from my own personal experience. I mean, I'm old enough and fortunate enough to say I'm not waiting in a line, so we'll go early enough to get in there. But I would be there third, fourth in line, and the line would be down the street, and I
Yeah.
go enjoy it and leave and
Yeah.
see a line and say, well, glad we got here when we did.
Yeah. I mean, to comment on that, a lot of the times the line moves actually pretty fast.
Yes. Yeah.
So if
I've gotten there in a line.
and like, I tell people, I was like, well, if you go to a regular restaurant, you're gonna wait to be seated, you're gonna get your drink, you're gonna wait to order, then you're gonna get your food, but by the time you get your food, it's probably gonna be like 30, 45 minutes, right?
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
about the same thing. You wait in line, the food comes out super
You do
fast.
get to
Right.
your food fast.
Because
Yeah.
our whole thing is with ramen, you have to eat it right away because quality declines super fast.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid growing up, it's like Mom would be like, well, hurry up, eat your ramen. Smack me in the back of the head, like it's getting cold,
Right.
so, I mean, the Americans, it's more of the Japanese thing,
Sure.
The Japanese like to eat food really temperature hot,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah, if you go and order a drink, be prepared to eat first. 'Cause your
Yeah,
food
yeah.
is
Oh,
coming.
really?
Dude,
Yeah, it's that quick.
It's fast. Sometimes like people aren't even sitting at their table yet.
Yeah.
Boom, food. So that's great though, the success of it. So 183 in Lamar, is that the 2 spots or is there a third? that I
Yeah, we
don't-
have a third one. Well, Houston's the third one.
Oh, Houston.
Was our third one, and then we
That-
have one now on Comal, 6th and Comal.
Okay.
6th and Comal, and that's actually kind of a dual concept, right? So we took the space, basically kind of split it in half. We took the outside part
Yeah.
and put a bar out there, and then there's a curry trailer.
Oh,
So
wow.
and that's called Domo Aligato. So like a domo, like it's a play on words. So domo arigato is like thank you very much. So it's Domo Aligato, like alley cat.
Wow.
Domo Aligato. So there's a
I
lot
like
of
it.
there's a lot of cats there. It's a really cool spot. So basically there's the ramen shop, and then Domo Aligato is more of a bar.
Sure.
But we do have food there. It's the trailer, the curry trailer. And I highly recommend the bonbon dog. It's a hot dog with a bun that's fried and covered in panko and fried. It's
Oh
so
my
good. I
gosh.
can crush I can crush 4 to 6 of them really easy.
Nice. You heard it here. Try that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like to ask where to go eat from a chef. Where are your favorite spots? But in this case, try that out.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's like one of my spots, but
Yeah, I know. Don't. It's okay. You've already said it. I'm sure. I'll be trying.
You can't take it back now.
You can't take it back. So at any of these locations, and I don't know how it works with the chefs that you guys are working with. Do you get like, what was the word, like sticker or some kind of paraphernalia to like promote the Water to Thrive, or to like let people know?
We've asked our chefs, and some of them taken us up on the offer that we've dropped off some information stuff at the restaurant so they can promote it.
Like
so.
leave it at the counter
yeah,
or something.
yeah. And what we've told them too is like, please invite your favorite patrons, because if they love you already, if they come, this might be something that they wouldn't be able to get at your restaurant, but they love you already, so they're gonna, bid for your dinner. It's possible.
Totally. It would. It just keeps running through my mind like we can't. Water's life. No life. And the restaurant. We're using water all day,
the
every
time.
day.
yeah, I think I mentioned that. I'll give you a secret. The number one ingredient to our ramen broth is water.
There you go. It's true,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then we had the water little contamination.
Yes.
And what was it like in your kitchen then? I mean, you guys were boiling, or did you close? You stayed open? You're just boiling
No,
water?
we stayed open. Yeah, boiling tons of water.
But in that case, the convenience of being able to boil tons of water, people were able to do that. But to imagine these, again, back to these, 3.5 miles or however long it is, hiking
To
with
gather it.
and
We were complaining that
little
we had to
girls.
go by, yeah.
It's girls doing it.
Children.
Or is it girls?
It's children, mostly girls. I mean, the
Okay.
girls are, they help their mothers. So when it gets time to go to school, that a lot of times they don't get to go, or if they do, they miss school or they go late, and so their education is impacted. So definitely, it's the girls. In fact, I'll give you an example. I was at a well, and I always ask, "How has your life changed now that you have a well?" And there was a man that wanted to speak, and I said, "Well, how far was it to the well or to your old water source?" He said, "Oh, it was close by." I said, "How close?" He said, 5 kilometers. That's 3 miles one way.
Yeah.
It was to a swamp. And I looked at him and I said, "That's not very far." I said, "How many times did you go gather water?" He said, "Never. That's woman's work."
Oh, yeah.
So that shows you.
Yeah, they've got a long way to go.
Absolutely.
He wouldn't fit in here too well.
No.
They like carrying them on their heads too. Right?
On their heads, on their backs. Anyway they can carry them.
And I mean, we're here with like I said, the greatest food, and there's a lot we just kind of like maybe just take for granted on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, the fridge is right there. We'll go take a shower. It's all good. But
Never a second thought.
yeah, is it ever in the picture that people have access to water there? I mean, I know it's coming out of a well, but like access. Can we end the water crisis worldwide?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's possible. I've heard people ask me questions about, isn't it the government's responsibility? And for us, we'd say yes.
Like our government.
Well, our government or their government for their countries.
Oh, so asking, is it their government's
Yeah,
responsibility?
and so my response is, yeah, you're right. It probably is. But so many of these countries have been in civil wars. Their infrastructure has been destroyed.
Yeah.
So what I tell them is, they're working on it. I see the progress just in the 4 years I've been working on it. But it's electricity first. Think about my grandparents. They had electricity. They did not have running water in their homes. So that comes later because infrastructure for plumbing is a bigger issue.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the villages we work in, again, they're not accessible by roads a lot of times. So I'm hiking. And so the government's thinking they'll put the infrastructure in the cities, in the towns. But for the village, that's, again, walkable only, you can't drive there. When are they ever going to get water? And how many children are going to die before they ever get water? So 50 years from now, 100 years from now?
Yeah.
So, how does that work with like sewage?
One of the things we also stress is building of latrines. So what we used to call outhouses. So that's part of their training. And so,
And that comes with the sanitation.
that comes with
teaching.
the sanitation. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. About
And-
where to dig it, how deep to dig it,
And what are they doing previous to that? I mean,
open defecation.
they just don't know.
They don't know. It's an education piece. I say it's a cultural change because,
Sure.
Even washing hands, there's that connection between this is why you get sick. When you pick up a child after, they don't wear diapers there. So if the child has used the bathroom on the ground, the child has walked through it, you pick up the child, you touch the food, people get sick. So it's about hand washing. It's about carrying the water and how to protect the water. It's about, to use a latrine. And so all that's part of the training. Yes.
Pretty
Do you-
intense.
Do you guys go back and like periodically check back on these villages to see how their progress is
Yeah,
doing?
we have. And our partners do too. They take assessments of how many, what percentage have latrines now. Are people keeping up what they're supposed to be keeping up with? Dick Miller, the founder, actually went back and did an anniversary trip. So he went back and visited villages from each of the 10 years, and all the wells were still working. Not to say that 100% that happens because everything breaks, but all the wells that he visited were still working. I also visited a well, I think, I can't forget which trip, but I went and everything was great. The water was going, and I looked at their account book and I said, "You don't have very much money. If you're collecting this much per month, that's not right. It's not what's in the account." And I said, "What happened?" And they said it broke twice, and we paid and got it fixed. And I said, "That's the way it's supposed to work."
Yeah. And is it always? I mean, so it's typically been successful. Do you ever go where? I mean, because you are teaching these people. I mean, how to use.
Yeah.
Go to the bathroom without getting sick.
Yeah.
I mean, so from the ground up. So do you ever go and like it's maybe like a failed incident where like the well is not functioning properly anymore, and you have to we got to start again from scratch or.
Yeah, we include in our projects rehab, so wells that have broken. Normally, they haven't been ours; they've been the government's or some good meaning groups. We've gone in because if there's already a well there, if we just like replace the pipes, it's going to be cheaper than drilling a whole new well. So we do that kind of project, and that's not to say we haven't had. A lot of times, it's internal fights. I went to one and. The people couldn't agree on sort of who was going to manage it, who was going to control it.
Could
So
see
our
something like
partner
that.
took the pump off the well. And said,
Then no water.
Yeah, until you guys can figure this out and agree and work together, you don't get the water. So they came back and I visited, and they were all. It was a big celebration, and they received their training and they got diplomas. And they said, "You're not going to take our pump again, are you?" We're like, "No, we're not going to take it." But
Well, good move, right?
yeah, I mean, there's always tribal fights in these countries. There's disagreement between. It's in a school lot. Who gets to use it? And does the school have control, or does the village have control? So things have to be worked out.
Yeah, and
But is that infrastructure left up to those groups,
like villages or wherever.
You mean as far as the management?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
We try to do that because again, it's not our place to tell them how they're going to manage the water source. We
Right.
give them training around it. We tell them this is the best practice for it. But what they build their fence out of, they decide. Is it going to be wood? Is it going to be rock? What do they have around? Oh, we have rocks. We're going to build it out of rock.
Right.
But we also hold them accountable and say, you've got to collect the user fee, and we stress to them, have a woman be the treasurer, because we've learned that works better there, that they're much better at managing the
Wait,
money.
so the user fee they pay for to get water.
Yes. So when each month the committee that oversees the water site decides how much each household has to pay. So it's usually pennies a month, because these are very poor countries.
Right.
They decide, oh, there's a widow that lives there. She doesn't have a husband. She has no money. We're going to let her use it without paying. Oh, our neighboring village, they want to use it. They have to pay. So it's preserving that, because it's a natural resource. You could
Right.
run out of water, so you got to preserve it. You got to take care of it. You got to watch over it. The pump's there. An animal could come and rub up against it and break it. Kids could play on it. So we encourage them to lock it up. Have a lock. Have opening and closing hours. Have a gate. Have a fence. They even at one village, it was beautiful. They hired a disabled man to be the guard. So they gave him a job and they paid him.
Sure.
So it was great.
The water boy.
The
Water
water
boy.
boy. Yeah.
You mentioned that, maybe somebody would ask, isn't this up to the government to take care of these people? And again, to the fact that we take things for granted, although sometimes right now our country seems a little, on the rocks there. We're all being taken care of at the end of the day, and
Free
it doesn't.
education, roads, water.
And it doesn't
We'll get
work
all.
that way in other countries. It's not America everywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's very different. So it's kind of again, to bring it back home to kind of the things that we kind of take for granted.
Absolutely.
But so what do you think? Can we solve the water crisis in this lifetime at all? In this lifetime, it's 660 million people.
663 million people. If we
I know you're
all,
hopeful.
If we all did something, absolutely. I
Yeah.
have no doubt.
Wow, getting everybody on board, that's tricky. You got to cook some good food for this. Right?
I feel like I'm doing my part. I did
You are
several
doing your
auctions.
part.
You are.
We love
You are.
you.
We are. No pressure. Right?
He does a great job.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But that's $10 everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody.
And watertothrive.org is
Yes.
where you can actually just go on there and literally click donate.
You can click donate. You can start a campaign with your family, friends, church. You can, write a check if you want to fund a full well. You can, you can give just $10 and provide one person with water. It's
Sure.
totally up to you.
And I mean, Austin is a great place with great chefs like
Yes.
Tako. So I mean, I'm completely behind what you're doing,
Thank
and
you.
I think it's excellent that you guys are doing this too. I hope you continue doing it. Do you post the stuff on any kind of social media? You're not big on that?
I'm too old for social media.
That's
You're
okay.
not
And then,
too old.
well, I also have
You're younger than I
with
am.
the
A lot
kid.
younger.
With the kid, I'm just less active on social media right
You
now.
could post a picture of the
Yeah.
kid cooking in the kitchen.
I'm trying to keep him off of social media right now.
I understand.
I support that too.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody tells me they're not on social media, I'm like, well, more power to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still on it. I just haven't been active.
Yeah,
because I've just been busy.
Well, it might be
figure
fun
out trying to
get-
figure out how to be a dad.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah, yeah.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. I think
you
they're going to
20,
kind of
25
show
years.
you. Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
Just the daycare thing I always point out to kids. Oh, how expensive the diapers, the food. No, daycare,
Yeah.
college,
Yeah.
cars. You could just get ready. You can start saving the pennies.
Yes.
Open one in Dallas and San Antonio, and just, it's just good.
Fund my child.
Yeah, we got a new
Fun
concept too that just opened up.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a shabu shabu restaurant. Dip Tatsu-ya.
Okay.
So shabu shabu.
Here?
Yeah, it's off of Burnett. You know where the Taco Deli is off Burnett near Anderson Lane,
Okay. I should.
North Cross Mall area.
Yeah.
I know that
You're close to
intersection.
our offices. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
That's,
Check it out.
That's pretty new. Shabu shabu is basically like a Japanese hot pot, and you get thin slices of meat, and you cook it in your pot. We have several choices of broth, and you get dipping sauces. Why it's dip.
Very cool.
And it's great. It's I would say it's like upscale shabu shabu.
Okay.
It's pretty fancy, but it's also like it's a great experience, and they have carts that roll around, kind of like dim sum-ish, so you can get stuff off the carts, and we have a great, drink menu, and
It's open for lunch.
just dinner right now. Just dinner. We just opened,
Okay.
and then
When
yeah.
did you guys open?
Man, I get my days off.
So very recently.
Yeah,
If it's
yeah,
days.
yeah. So it's probably like a couple months, I think.
Oh, okay, but a couple months. Do you have that line, that notorious line that you guys are known
No,
for?
we do reservations.
Oh, okay.
So we're kind of booked up. We're booked up,
Uh-oh.
and
I'm gonna have to try this out.
Absolutely.
yeah, and then we're gonna be doing ice cream there pretty soon.
Nice. In-house, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, but that's gonna be like where you can walk up and order it outside.
Oh, okay.
Love it. Love it.
And then we got a tiki bar that's gonna open sometime.
Cool.
So we got a lot of projects in the works,
Yeah,
and
you
then
do.
obviously we want to
Can't
expand.
believe you don't have time for social media with all that going on.
And then we want to expand. Obviously the ramen shops. If there's demand, that we want to be able to supply it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a demand for that. I mean, I don't know, but just from if you get people from Austin who've eaten it, kind of like do like a testimony. I mean, I'm sure you'd get people on board in all ports of the country.
Yeah, it's just crazy. When we first opened, like there are people that when we just had the one shop, there'd be people that would drive from like Houston, San
wow.
Antonio,
Yeah.
just to eat there. And
Yeah,
I'm
it was kind of like a phenomena.
yeah,
So good.
And I mean, we were the first dedicated ramen shop in Texas.
Can we say that you
so-
might be the Aaron Franklin of a Ramen Tatsu? Because he had a similar.
Well,
like,
I mean, I would
Just say
I would
yes.
give
Just say
Tatsu I would
yes.
give Tatsu that title.
okay.
You know.
Okay. There you go.
He's
A
the
humble man.
He's the visionary, and I'm
Sure.
the guy the logistics guy, and I know how to cook food too.
Cool. No, I know that.
And so yeah, it's just been crazy. It's been well beyond my expectations, as far as like how much success that we've had and how much it's just grown. And,
Well, kudos to you, for
it's-
that. And then stepping up and doing things like this with Water to Thrive. I mean,
yeah. And when Chef Will approached me with it, I was like, yeah, this is a good cause, like,
absolutely.
like we'll do some things like events and they don't like reimburse you for anything.
Sure.
So I guess the pull is like you get like it's a marketing thing. So you
Get the little badge.
you get
that you've done,
you get
helped them.
exposure, I
Yeah.
guess, when you do some of these events, and there's a bunch of people with booths or whatever.
Sure.
And people pay tickets to go to the event, and then, but at the end of the day, they're not reimbursing your food at all. So you're putting in all this work for.
Well, it turns into work.
Yeah,
Where this, like you mentioned, you go there, you guys get a drink, you guys have fun.
yeah, and this is for a good cause.
for a
Whereas
good
like
cause.
something like that, which I don't want to diss on it.
Sure.
But
No, you're
but
not.
but sometimes, it's like if you need the exposure, it could help out.
Yeah.
Might not help out, but that's the hopes of it. But at the end of the day, after doing a bunch of these, and it's like, well, are you going to reimburse us? No. Well, then I'm helping you out because you're, we're the draw. The restaurants are the draw.
Sure.
So, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I follow.
And we know that. We value our chefs' participation. We couldn't do this without them. This event has grown from the first year. It raised a few $1,000, and this last year we went over the $200,000 mark. So it's only because
incredible, yeah.
it's only because of these chefs that were capable of doing that. So we value them and want to treat them and want to treat them special and make sure they feel good about the event. So not just like come and give us what you got and we're going to take and not give back.
So any chefs who may want to join in future years, suggestions how they get a hold of you guys to do something like that?
Sure, they can, a couple ways. They could always reach out to Chef David Bull because he's the one that sort of curates the list and helps us with that. They can always email us.
I don't know if we've mentioned David Bull's Second Bar and Kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where he's
yeah,
at. So is he
yes.
primarily at the Domain? or is he downtown?
He's
or?
all over.
Oh,
He's
okay.
got
All right.
another concept stagecoach up in Salado, and he's got a lot of things. He's sort of like Chef Taco. He doesn't just do one thing.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of things going on. So he's a
Yeah.
busy man.
That guy's probably way busier than I am.
Yeah, yeah.
I helped him open up a second bar kitchen downtown,
Yeah.
and that's how I got to know him.
Okay. Was that was first, right? The second bar and kitchen, was that the first location for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Second, and they had Congress, which is their upscale.
Second in Congress.
Yeah.
And now there's one in the Domain.
It's one in the Domain. They have something in the airport.
Oh, that's right. I love our airport.
I do too.
It's crazy. It's like you could just fly into Austin, get a bite to eat, and just fly back out.
Yeah.
I think I spent breakfast, lunch, and dinner there because my flight kept getting delayed. So I ate all 3 meals in the airport.
And they're all delicious, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can do. I mean, Austin's got some unique thing, Juice Land or Salt Lake, and they're all peach tortillas in there now.
Oh, yeah.
It's I think Easy Tiger's going in there soon.
Oh, really?
It's nuts.
And you can get a massage.
Hop on board. Just go on in there. And you can you can shop apparently.
You can
and
shop.
you can
Vino Volo, I love that place.
There you
get
go.
wine.
What about in the cell phone lot? Apparently, there's shopping there too and food,
Yeah.
which I've not experienced. I just heard, but I just
What,
find
you
it.
can get food at the cell phone lot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and shopping.
They used to be nice. I mean,
Oh, they
just
put
go-
stores there?
I guess
I think so.
so.
There's a gas station there now, and there's also, I love it. They have the screens so you can see if the flight's delayed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's pretty cool. People can't text you, and if they're up on the plane, if they have to circle 10 times. So
Right. No,
That's
it's. I think it's pretty unique too. I don't think we have that in most other airports. I've not heard of, which is surprising. But here, let's roll with it.
Austin's just getting way too big. So we need
Austin
stuff
is
like
getting
that.
very big. We have some big things in the pipeline, like the Apple is. Yeah, I'm sure we've all heard of the new Apple campus, which is 4 times the size of the campus that's already up there, which is already like a small city. So I keep asking, well, where are all the people going to go?
Yeah, the thing
Mopac.
is, yeah.
Stay off
I
35.
lived here pretty much my whole life, So
Oh, you've
I've
seen some drastic changes.
yeah, big time, and it's good and bad.
Good and bad.
I have like this thing where it's like we're full.
We're full.
We're full. The city, the way that it was built, it wasn't built to handle all these people.
Yeah.
And there's too many people moving too quickly, so the city can't keep up with expansion.
Yeah.
Right, the roads and stuff like that. Right, so I kind of feel like they should cap it. And if you want to move here, you need to pay extra.
Well, in a way, that's sort of happening. Housing is going up.
Well,
and-
it's affecting the people that have been here
Local
forever.
people,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think is cool. So I think because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people with a lot of money that are moving here. They're
Yeah.
buying stuff up, which is what's shooting up the prices of things.
Sure.
Right, which could kill what Austin's all about.
Sure.
It's a hippie town. It was a hippie town. It was about creativity. It's definitely was a music town. I'm afraid that it's going to get too expensive for these types of, people to live here anymore.
Sure.
It's going to become, like a San Francisco or maybe, you know what I mean, to where it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
And
Fingers
So-
crossed
yeah,
on that one.
so-
But the east side is the real last standing example of that happening. It's slowly kind of disappearing, and you can almost watch it.
yeah, but it's just everything's so expensive everywhere. Property taxes, it's crazy,
Right.
And
We kind of joke, if you're a line cook in Austin, you need like 3 roommates to rent a house. But
Yeah.
if you're a line cook in San Francisco, the whole kitchen needs to rent a house.
yeah. And I was joking around. I was like, how you have to pay when you go to college, you have to pay out of state tuition, which costs way more than you live in state.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they should do that for people that are moving here
from
now.
out of state.
Yeah.
You got to pay more.
Out of state.
Because you're not.
Yeah. No, I've had all kinds of things run through my head about how to control, because now we've had school recently start back up, and we all see that the traffic is.
Insane.
I hate that word, traffic. Just cut it out of the vocabulary. But it's become a thing. I've literally just watched it happen in a few years to the point where it's just a gridlock.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure that you remember South Austin not being nothing like this.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in South Austin, so it's crazy.
Right.
But you know,
And Austin needs water for it's a desert out here.
Well, you know, I moved here in 2015. I don't know if you remember 2015, but it was
Yeah.
so dry. And that May rained every single day.
Oh, wow.
And every single day as in a deluge, because I think like Travis, it was like at an all-time low or something
I
crazy.
remember that, yeah.
But during that month of May, it like caught back up, and it was like I
It
really
like overflowed then, right?
Yeah, I was questioning like, where did I move? Am I in Seattle? Because I was like, I moved from Kentucky, Indiana, and I'm like, I thought it was supposed to be really pretty here and sunny, and it was like
Just
it
raining.
Was, right, I thought I moved to Seattle,
And now we
then-
have 17 days of 100 degrees.
Oh my gosh!
Well,
yeah.
there was a record as over 100 days of 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was 2008. I can't remember when it was,
Wow.
but that was part of the times when Lake Travis was like, you can see islands popping up.
Yeah.
A lot of people couldn't access their boat docks.
Right.
That would have been a really great time to buy lake property.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's one of those things. It's like I wrote a blog post about the devastating how water is so important and necessary. Is drinking and bathing and cooking and plant life, but then the devastating how powerful water is when you talk about rains and floods and
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature. And so yeah, it's
She's
really
not the nurturing mother.
No, she's not. She can be a you know what?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A little unforgiving.
I love Mother Nature.
Yeah. Well,
Right now, she needs to stop with the heat. That's all I have to say.
I know it's true, and maybe I don't know. She can't really contribute to the traffic. I'm sure there's something. I don't
She
know,
could do
earthquake,
something.
but mess up
Yeah,
Mopac a little bit.
yeah.
I don't know, something.
We just need to cap it off.
Because that's your vote.
Cap it off.
And like I said, we need to pay them out-of-state fees to move here.
There we go.
There you go.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Oh, you want to move here? Cool. Out-of-state fees.
I just like the idea of anybody going to school is required to be in a carpool with like 4 people in it, or like bus, including teachers. There's no back to school traffic anymore.
I agree.
Something in that
When
line.
did people start taking all their kids to school every day? It's like I rode the big yellow bus
Yeah.
from the first grade until I graduated from high school.
Well, my daughter just took the big yellow bus for the first time like 2 days ago, and it was like, no, that was 2 days ago, and I was scared and worried, but yes, she can take the bus.
Yeah.
I'm not driving there.
Not every day.
No. Did you mention the founder? His name?
Yeah, Dick Miller is the founder.
Miller,
Yep,
okay.
Yeah, he actually did the climb at Mount Kilimanjaro with us. So 9 of us started, 4 of us made it to the peak, and
Oh,
he
wow.
was one of them. He turns, I think, 73 on the mountain. He had a birthday on the mountain.
Oh, cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty. He's up there for going up the mountain.
He was rocking
Cool.
it. Yeah, most of the people on the mountain were 20s and 30s. So he was awesome. So yeah, he still stays involved. This is his baby. You
Yeah.
know, Water to Thrive was his sort of baby. So he's involved in the project management side. So he still does some of the work in the organization.
Cool.
Well, we appreciate being on with you. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
sure.
having me.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
So watertothrive.org.
Yep.
You can get on there. You can do you can donate there. like
Donate.
we've
start
mentioned
a
few
campaign.
times. There you go.
Go buy tickets to the event.
Where you can meet Chef Taco. Hey, you can bring him home. Oh,
You can take him home. You put him in your pocket. He's so that
Sure.
cute. He's
Right.
that cute.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be
used
fighting for that.
I used to DJ.
He did.
There we go.
You failed to mention that.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
used
do a
to-
little something for us right now?
I have no turntable.
no
I got a guitar
turntable.
over there.
But I used to DJ like for probably 12 years, and that's actually how me and my business partner Tatsu met.
Okay.
You know,
Nice,
And,
cool.
and we were just so happened to be doing sushi at the same time. But one of the almost positive was Water to Thrive. The guy was like, it was Water to Thrive. He was like, hey, will you DJ our party if we bid for you? And I was like, oh, man, I haven't played in like years. I'm so rusty. And he's like, oh, no. So finally, he convinced me. So yeah, I DJ their party.
That's so fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It is
so-
cool. And then you guys were all connected after that. So look at here.
You know, so
However many years later.
yeah. So that was kind of part of the package.
Okay.
That was part of the package.
So you were cooking and DJing. Cooking.
Yeah,
and
well,
DJing.
we did the meal, and then I
Then
had my
you played the
turntable set
music.
up, and then it was party
So
mode.
do I have the image right where you're like cooking and the turntable's going around and like somebody's on the other side and you set it there and
No.
direct,
Food,
pull it off?
food stays
Like a lazy
separate.
Susan.
Food stays separate from the
turntable.
turntables. Playing in clubs, I've had a lot of drunk people spill stuff on my equipment.
I bet.
and
Sure. Some sticky records.
Yeah,
floating
that's never cool.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But yeah, that was something that I offered. I'm still too rusty now to feel confident about that.
Just do it.
That's what everyone tells me. Just do it. Just do it. Just
People
do it.
appreciate it.
It'll
People
come
appreciate
back
it.
to you.
Yeah.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah, I just need to practice.
The headphones, they bring back some memories.
Yeah, I mean, I still
You'll
want
do
my
it.
headphones and listen to it.
You got to get back into that for your kid.
Yeah, I just need to start practicing a little bit.
Yeah.
You know. So,
I do to get music and my guitar. My daughter's got a ukulele and she'll sit up here with me for hours. She's writing songs. She's 5. She can't even write.
that's nice.
So it's fun. I think the kids like music and cooking is
Sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
I'm
I
always
like to scratch a lot too. So that's
There you go.
That's what I got into it.
Yeah.
Scratching and
You show your son that once, it's done.
yeah. I beatbox to him now. I'm not a good beatboxer, but I just like.
Give us something.
Come on.
Oh, I don't want. No,
All right, come on, just
I
something.
just make beats, with my mouth. He sits on my lap, and I'm like, yeah,
I'm loving it.
But I like get his feet involved, It's like, and I'm like slapping his legs together with the beat,
Oh, that's funny.
just trying to give him some, so that he's got fluidity,
Sure. Give him
that-
some rhythm.
Yeah, some rhythm, so that when he gets older, he knows
What's
how
his
to
name?
he knows how to dance. Joji,
Joji.
Joji.
Love it.
Very
His
cool.
middle name's Oso, which means bear. Yeah. So my wife's Mexican and I'm Japanese, so
Okay.
Joji Bear.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it too. That's a cute name. Well, who knows? Who knows if he falls in your path with a restaurant or if he starts scratching? Either one or the other. Who
Yeah, I
knows?
mean, I'll support anything that he does,
That's the father speaking there. So
and I just want to be his best friend.
sure. Well, listen, you guys. I appreciate you guys coming
you
out here.
so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
again.
Thanks
You
for
guys are
having me.
always welcome back
Thanks.
anytime.
Cool.
Chef Tako, take care.
All right. Thank you.